Hello and welcome to episode 556 of the Working Perspectives podcast, presents For Dads by Dads. I'm at Lavelle, accompanied by Bern Podcasy, Bern Podcasy, and the most handsome bastard to ever walk a turn in any school ever, the one and only Reese. Tonight, we're tackling one of the heaviest, most important jobs we have as fathers. That's raising mentally tough kids. We're living in a world where it's easier than ever to bubble wrap our children, to fix their problems for them, and to cushion every fault. But we all know that doesn't serve them in the real world. Today, we're talking about how to build resilience, grit, and emotional and mental toughness in our kids. And to give you a full 360-degree view on this, we're coming at you from three very different dynamics. Me, I'm coming from the married dad's perspective, figuring out how to build a united front with my wife. Bern is here bringing the divorced dad's perspective, navigating resilience across two households. And Liam, he's holding it down with the single dad perspective, managing the ultimate balancing act on his own. We're going to share our wins, our fails, and what actually works. Let's get into it. All right. First things first, we'll talk about defining, what is mental toughness for kids, right? So for me, how, me and my wife, we have to work at defining mental toughness together. And it's what happens when one parent is naturally more protective while the other one wants to let the kid struggle a little bit. It's tough. But Bern, I'm going to go to you. How do you teach a kid mental toughness isn't about, how it isn't about keeping all your emotions in, right? Discuss how you go through a family transition like a divorce and force kids to develop a different kind of, early resilience. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope, right? The hope is that, the number one thing that I think anyone has to do as a parent, whether it's mental toughness, whether it's just basic manners, whether it's being financial, it's all example, man. These kids are watching everything you do and everything you say. And even if you don't think they're picking up on it, even if they don't realize they're picking up on it, this is how they learn how to communicate with the rest of the world, right? By watching us in those early years. So even when me and my ex-wife are having a disagreement, that never gets shown to the kids. They don't see us at odds ever. Because when real things come up, we have to have a unified front, right? They have to be hearing it from both of us. We have to be consistent with stuff like that, or else, because then otherwise they're just going to pick and choose the message they like more, and then that doesn't actually build character. It's more of a shortcut. I'll just do the thing I'd rather do. I have two choices now.
Okay. So then Liam, what about you then? You're the sole provider and primary anchor. How do you define the mental toughness and the grit?
So for me, I think that stuff kind of happens by default. It happens organically because it's not really a matter of being good cop, bad cop, or being tough, or the things are gonna happen. And that's the only option. You know what I mean? There is no, go ask mom or go do this. This, what's going to happen is going to happen. And usually I kind of I'll tell her, okay, I know this sucks now and everything, or I know you don't like my ruling on the matter or whatever, but be cool. Trust me. And so far it worked. It's worked out.
That's also something you've had
so far.
But that's something you've had to build up as well. Where it's look, when I tell you this is going to happen, it took 4 or 5 times of her seeing okay, he was right when he said this, and this is what happened, for her to now be okay. If he says, calm down, this is what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. So, all right, well, that's good. But that takes it, takes time to build that. So let's talk about this, though, right? And I'm going to start, you got to start when they're young. So former guest of the show, friend of the show. Love this guy. You know, shout out Riffin Hoofmill Flynn and Rick Outland, pretty Rick Outland.
Oh, pretty Rick.
He's got 5 kids. Okay? 5. Liam, I know you got
Oh,
one by yourself, but that ain't 5. It
And
ain't 5.
how old's the oldest? Like 10, 11?
no,
You
it's
know what I
not.
mean? Like
No, like 12, 13, I
12,
think.
13. Okay.
But he's run 5. 5.
That's still
5.
complete chaos. That
It's
that is
madness.
chaos. Undoubtedly, that is fucking chaos
That
24/7.
you think about how tired you are. Think about it. And now imagine that times 5.
Yeah.
That's him. So either way, I remember when I was having my first kid, me and him were talking, and one of the things he said to me, he's like, "Look, do not pick them up when they fall down. Do not." Like he's like, when they're really hurt, you'll know. When it's a real fucking hurt and you gotta get in
Yeah.
there and whatever, you will fucking know. But do
That's good
not
advice.
pick them up. Yeah, you gotta let them get up. You cannot react, and you know what I mean. So I mean, I don't know how many times I've yelled at my wife about like for my daughter, I did it too, like where it's like, no, she's got to get up by herself, and I'm happy that I did that. But for my son, I don't know how many times
Yeah.
I have to yell at my wife to like stop fucking babying this kid. I know he's 1.5, but when he falls down, let him pick himself back up. He's gonna be fine. He's not gonna be hurt. Stop fucking coddling
Yeah.
him. You know, like let him fucking run into a wall here and there. It's okay.
There's that like if a tree
And if
falls
you
in the
tell them,
woods and
if
no
you
one's
tell
around
them
to
they're
hear
going to
it.
be,
Go ahead, Liam. Go ahead, Liam.
yeah, as okay. It's
Yeah,
so
you
if
bet.
you tell them they're going to be all right,
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you tell them they're going to be all right, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to go with it. Actually, probably more than 9 times out of 10. Like you said, it's very rare that when they go down and they're hurt, like they're down for good or they're like really seriously hurt and wailing and everything. Like if they fall, they're looking to see how you react to it. If you tell them it's cool, they'll fucking get up and just keep it moving.
Yeah, the non-reaction's huge. Bern, what were you gonna say about the tree in the woods?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one around, did it make a noise? Like, we've all had that moment where the kid goes down and you're just like, if I just pretend I didn't see it, they're just going to get up and dust herself off. Where if you have that reaction of like, oh my God,
Oh,
that's when the tears come, right? That's when it's like that's when they react to you reacting.
yeah,
So like
yeah,
everyone's done that. Like you see it out of the side of your eye and you're just like, all right, I'm just going to chill over here for a couple of seconds. I think they're fine. They'll let me know very quickly if they're not. And yeah, most of the time they just get right up and are like, all right, that happened. Not a big
you
deal.
know what? Like that is you know what's one of the things too that I've seen as far as like dad stuff goes or parenting, I guess, is like when to give them like more mental toughness, you have to be like super patient at times. You know what I mean? Because it's small things too, right? Like my daughter's at the age where I was yelling at my wife. I was like, we cannot put on my daughter's fucking shoes anymore. She's 6 years old. She needs to put on her fucking shoes. If that means
Yeah.
that we go to the door 4 minutes earlier because it takes her that long right now to put her fucking shoes on, then guess what? That's what we're doing. We're not waiting to the last minute to put her
Yeah.
shoes on to get out the door. Like we need to have a little more rush and a sense of urgency when doing this. But small things like that, like they have to shower alone, they have to brush their teeth themselves, And I think at times they want to do that type of stuff. Like they want to, do the shower and do like, cause it's more like they're being more of like a big kid. You know what I mean? But like the brushing the
Yeah.
teeth, the being on top of that, like that's all building the mental toughness that they need of like everyday routine and discipline that takes over. Like I don't know, Bern, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, kids are always going to push from an early age, and kids
Oof.
naturally are going to want you to do things for them because they remember that. They remember you doing everything for them. So the older they get, sometimes they're just like, well, I still would rather you do this. Like right now, my daughter, right, she gets a popsicle party. If she stays in her bed and doesn't come bother anybody else that's sleeping 10 days in a row,
Oof.
if she can do that for 10 straight days, she gets a
Love it.
popsicle party. You know what a popsicle party is? Everybody in the house has a popsicle together. It's like it's a win-win for everybody, but it's her popsicle party. And
Yeah.
like she realized like she doesn't need all of this. And you can't be like there does have to be some reward for like good and consistent behavior. But it can't be like I think a popsicle every 10 days is a pretty decent, you know,
Yeah. Nothing
carrot
wrong
on the
with
stick
that.
right there.
No.
But she
It's
would,
always
but
good.
if she didn't have an incentive, she would come because she would wake up at night and be like, I don't know, I'm 50-50. I can stay here or I can go bug somebody.
Right.
And like she would go
Right.
bug somebody. Like now
There's
it's
nothing
like
wrong with some incentive.
Now, how
you
many
know?
times? How many times does that have to happen before you're like, okay, like popsicles up, now you got to do this for real? You
well,
know,
she's currently
like I
had she's
think
had
sometimes that's a hard place to like find that line.
she's had two. She's had two popsicle parties. So we're like
So
pushing
that's
30
good.
days here.
I just yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to do this for the rest of her life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
She's not
like,
gonna be doing this, but the night before her wedding. You know what I mean?
right. Maybe at the next one we bump it up to 30 days. And then after that it gets bumped up to 60 days and then we just forget all about it and she just has a popsicle every once in a while.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
The
What?
slow
So
phase out.
let's talk about this though. So one of the things, and Bern, you touched on it earlier, is that they see everything, right? And I think as dads, and I know like my dad was like this, but like when something like a task, you're like losing your temper during a task, you know what I mean? That's a version of like mental toughness or mental discipline or whatever, like completing the task, working on something, getting through something, that's all part of it. But like the ability to stay calm and cool in like a stressful situation, that's also like a big time form of mental toughness. So, Liam, what is something like you do, or do you know, like, do you remember a scenario where it's like, God damn it, like I'm fucking about to lose it, but I need some calmness? Like, what are you thinking? You know, what do you do in those scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a million times. Like, definitely when you're driving around and stuff, especially if you're late, you know what I mean?
Oh,
You got to get her to where she needs to be. You're behind a trash truck. The fucking school bus now stops at every single
oh,
person's house. I guess there's not
Yep.
bus stops anymore. That is when I'm like, that is like definitely when I'm ready to lose it. And you have to just
yeah,
crank the radio up and just pretend that
dude,
it's
the
not happening,
car,
even though there's steam
yeah.
like blowing out of your ears.
Ugh. The car is so brutal, especially like I've said, like my daughter knows, like I'll say, like, what's one thing that daddy fucking hates? And she'll be like, Daddy hates being late. And I'm like, I fucking hate being late. I hate it.
Uh-huh.
Right? And I hate it because, dude, it's like the difference between when you leave on your own and when you're leaving with kids, it's like an extra
Ugh.
fucking 20 minutes just to walk out the goddamn door. You know,
It's more
it's
than that.
it's
It is more than that.
infuriating.
My daughter
So
recently started like to become a walker and everything, so now we don't have to go super early for the, you know what I mean, for the before care and everything. Now when I
yeah,
get up, it's like I have infinite time. Before it seemed like I couldn't even get, 15 minutes went by like
right.
in 30 seconds. Now I get up, I have so much time. I'm watching the highlights from the night before. You know what I mean? I'm getting my
Yeah,
caffeine. I'm like, dude, it's insane. It's insane
yeah.
how peaceful it is once you get that back.
Oh, dude, I don't know, but I mean, Bern, when I don't know, the kid, what is a situation like for you where it's like you got to control your anger? Like, where does that break down when you have, I know, because like I could see it too. You don't have the kids and you're used to like this, the being by yourself time frame, and then you have the kids, and now it's like you're on the hey, fucking sense of urgency morons time frame. Like, where are we at with that?
Yeah, I mean I think what it is mostly is like I have to be able to separate like it's got to be normal everywhere they go. And so just because I only have them for a couple days and I'm trying to jam a bunch of stuff in, like that's me. That's me trying to do that to like, yeah, I want them to have a good time, but I have to look in the mirror sometimes and be like, am I trying to overcompensate here for like a lack of
Yeah,
time? Because that doesn't work
Yes.
either. Because then they end up getting burnt out and they end up getting overstimulated,
Yeah.
and then like there's nothing more frustrating than like I get to spend some time with them. We go do a bunch of fun stuff, and then by the end of the day, the last thing we're doing, they're tired or they're cranky or then they're in bad moods, and like there is that part of you that goes like, all I try to do all fucking day was have this great
Right.
time. And now, like
Right.
after all that, after we did this, that, and this, now they're bitching. Like, what more could you possibly? I packed
Right.
the day, I made it fun, but I've had to take a step back and be like, okay. And that's a mental toughness thing too, is being able to look in the mirror and be like,
Totally.
I might have pushed him. I think there's
Right.
one thing that I'm starting to realize, and that's that, and you'll realize this too, Maddie, the older your son gets, especially having two, is they're not the same, man. I mean, they do a lot of the same stuff, but they're not the same
Yeah.
kid. And like things have to be fair, but it doesn't mean you treat them exactly the same way. Like my son is a little more sensitive. He's always been a little more sensitive. He's always been a little anxious. He's always been kind of
Yeah.
anxious. Where my daughter, I could already tell, like the way he was when he was 4 and the way she is at 4, she's way more kind of carefree and like, just put her head down, run into any activity. But I have to be aware of that. Like I had to be aware that my son has a lot of thoughts going on underneath sometimes that he's not sharing. Where my
Yeah.
daughter's just like unicorns, puppy dogs, and I don't know where my pants are, and frankly, I'm not that concerned about it. Like,
Yeah.
so I think you got to kind of nurture the kid too, and it's a weird thing because you have to have the same rules, but you're not necessarily having the same conversations with them
Yeah.
around the rules, if that makes any sense. Like,
No.
Huh.
I totally do that. What were you gonna say, Liam?
No, I just said like, huh, that's funny because like I've never had to deal with that, so I just was saying, huh, like I'm finding that interesting.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
I
it
just have
is.
like one set, like I have like one set that I have to live by, really, and that never even crossed my mind that
But
like, yeah, you have the
you
same
also
rules
like,
but
get to
different.
make the rules, Liam. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have preset rules that were, kind of formed by a dictator, it seems at times. And I'm sure Bern, you're getting some pre-established rules as well that you're like, okay, I guess this is how things are supposed to,
well, they spend the majority of their time with their mom, so like
Yeah.
it is up to me to like like we say about almost everything we talk about on this pod. Consistency is so key with
Oh,
anything.
buddy.
So like even if there's something I don't agree with 1,000%, if that's how they
If that's,
live, and if
yeah,
that's the expectation, then like it's up to me to keep that consistent.
even
Because
keel. Yeah.
2 days here, and then the last thing I want, 2 days here, and they go back to their moms, and they're just like, no, now we don't do it like that anymore, and now
Yeah.
she's got too bad, and it's like
And
it
then
makes
you
a
gotta
mess.
hear it. Oh, you gotta hear it.
But
Oh,
it makes a
buddy.
mess for them too. You know what I mean? Like, because their
Yeah.
little bird brains are just like, now I do things like this. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you
Yeah.
don't, dude. No, you don't.
So
Yeah.
I'll tell you. Yeah. What? Go ahead, Liam.
No, I mean that's it. He's right. That's not good for anybody. Like he doesn't win if he does that because
Nope.
Right.
like
It's
if
all
they lose,
chaos.
he loses even if he's not there. I get it, dude. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Totally. So okay. So I'll tell you this, right? My daughter's soccer. So in the last 4 seasons, we've talked about this. I think we've had 4 losses in the last 4 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
This season, we've opened up the season. Currently, right now, we have 1 win, we have 4 losses, and we have 3 ties, right?
They got to go through it, dude.
Right. Not a strong start to the season, but I love seeing like improvement, staying mentally strong. Like there's been some frustration, and it's been like across the board. I see like some of the players. Like I've gone up to players and they're upset. I'm like, hey, when we lose the game, I'm like, I'm upset too. We're gonna figure
Yeah.
this out. I promise you.
Yeah.
We're gonna if we gotta do like we implemented an extra practice that isn't even part of the league. I told all the parents, I was like, look, bring your kids to this park. It's an open night. Bring them here. We'll have an extra practice because I can't stand this anymore. I can't stand us fucking losing when we're a better team, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and we've implemented a new system and stuff, but the fact that they are losing and having to fight through adversity, like I'll tell you, one of my favorite times ever coaching, it was 2 seasons ago. We were playing a team, they were the other best team in the league, right? And we
Mhm.
went down in the first half 5-1, right? 5-1 in the first half. It was almost the end of the first half. I grabbed my whole team together. I said, look, right now, they have the advantage, but after halftime, we're going to get them and we're going to make it rain, right? And we ended up
Mhm.
winning that game 10-6. You know what I
Nice.
mean? Like we came back, fought back, rallied, and won. And the fact that they didn't give up, fought through the adversity, and came back, that's the lesson, you know? So right now, yes, we start off slow, things aren't great, but you don't give up. You stick with it. You learn, you grow, you adapt. You don't keep doing the same thing. You got to switch it up. You got to try and figure it out. Has there been a time, Liam, I'll go with you on this. Has there been a time in your kid's life where like they've gone through some adversity and had to climb up the hill to get over it?
Absolutely. So like the first season that she did competitions, their team was great. They won first place and everything. They won first place on a couple of them that
Yep.
year, and they were just they were smoking it. And it was
Rolling.
the last competition of the season too. They won and everything, and they had a really good squad, and they really like killed it. Then the next season was brutal. Like
Oh,
the past season, this season was brutal. Like they didn't.
yeah.
I think the highest they broke was like fourth.
Yeah.
Like they had a real rough season her first year at JV.
Do you think like they rested on their laurels a little bit, got a little too hot dog? Like what happened?
They had a lot of new kids, and it was a
Yeah.
big team. They like
Yeah.
expanded the team, and there was a lot of kids, and
Yeah.
it was just a bunch of newbies and stuff. Which nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean?
Nope.
And there was times
Everyone
where
starts somewhere.
there
Yeah.
was times where we would be there, and like she executed everything she needed to, like her stunts and all her stuff, like where they put them up, they hold them up and everything, and the group on the end, they dropped theirs, so they lost a lot of points for that, and they lost. And I remember the car ride home, she's like, we
Oof.
shouldn't have did this because you know what I mean, like all her tumbles and everything were really great. And
Yeah.
I was like, yo, sometimes like that, you're part of a team. You guys
Yeah.
all lose together. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like when you win together, you all won together. When you lose together, you all lose. And
Totally.
that shit happens. But the next year, it got even worse. They went to one and it got snowed out, so they couldn't do
Oh.
that. So they wanted
Oh.
redemption then. And then the next one, after all that, after the bad season, the getting snowed out, waiting all this time, they finally get one, and they fucking won grand champs of the whole
Oh my
competition and
God.
everything. They fucking
Yeah.
smoked everyone, dude. And
So they kind of need
it was like the best feeling in the world, dude. That was the best win they ever had by far.
that. So you not kind of need that kick in the ass, right? You
Oh
know,
yeah.
like that.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that, and I love seeing that happen. Bern, what about you, Daddy?
Sports is funny too. Like my son just finished his spring soccer. They only played 6 games. They didn't win one. They went 0 for,
Oof.
and they
Oof.
had a good squad last year. They went 0. Now I think the team scored 14 goals this year. He had 11 of them, right?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
funny for me to try to manage that because, like, I think I was a pretty mentally tough athlete, but it's because I was never the most talented kid on the team. Like, I was a
Right.
grinder. No matter what I
Yeah.
played, I was a grinder. And it's funny because I watch him and I'm like, I don't know if I had 11 goals in like my best high school season. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know if I ever. I think he had
Yeah.
30 the year before, and so like I'm trying to manage how do I, what's the difference of mentality, right? Because he's out there feeling like he's the best kid on the team. So how do we
Yeah.
focus on like staying focused and staying tough? And I think the biggest thing is that I'm always preaching to him is you got to finish, right? It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and you have to
Yeah.
finish. Like that's the
Yeah.
hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to do when you're getting smoked and things aren't going your way and you're down 6-0. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about winning the game. The score doesn't matter at that point.
Nope.
You gotta stay focused. You gotta play your best game, You got to finish. And like, no matter what the score is at the end, I'm going to be proud of you as long as I see you out there working,
hustling till the end, fighting till the end. Yeah.
And so he's trying out in a week. He's 9. He's going to try out for U11. He's going to try out to play up. And I'm really excited.
Do they have travel there?
If they have enough kids they can get who are like, they're going to judge decent enough that it's worth everyone's time, they're going to travel. But I'm excited for that because I want to see him have to go compete against bigger, stronger, tougher kids, because that's when you actually kind of know. Like, and listen, he was the most talented kid on the team. I don't know what it's like being the most talented kid on the team. So I'm like, all right, how do I make sure I keep him working hard?
Blessing in the curse, though.
Well, it is, because that can turn around on you so fast if you're not working.
One of the things I stress to like my stronger players and the ones I've told them, like, look, you're a leader on this team, and you might not be a vocal leader, but you lead by your play because you're one of the better players. So the other girls are watching you to see what you do, and they're counting on you. So one thing you can never do to your teammates is you can never be negative, right? You can never say you can never say like, oh, you're not any good, or you messed up, or you cannot do that. If you do that, then your leadership credibility is gone. You have to be always positive, always saying we can do this, we can work together, things like that. But that's mental toughness that it takes a while to build, and sometimes it takes a special kid too. Not all kids can do that. So, but it isn't. I mean, the other thing too with, and we talked about this a little bit with the mental toughness, is like you do have to let them be independent. Like, I don't know how many times I've said this. Like, my wife, one of her things with my son, she's like, he's gonna get hurt. He's gonna just like, I tell her, I was like, he's got to learn the hard way. Let him learn the hard way, and that's fine. Because guess what? They'll learn quicker. It might suck. He might not like it when he puts his hand on the stove, but guess what? He's not going to do it again.
I mean, I don't know that I ever learned anything the easy way.
No, there is no learning the easy way.
That's what I mean.
For suckers.
Well, it doesn't work.
Yeah, Sonny's right. The working man is a sucker.
And you can tell when they like have that like look of like determination. Yeah. Where like you could say anything, you could give any advice, and they're gonna push through what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like 100%. They're gonna. So that's why you're right. That's why you have to step back. Like, she ain't stopping for shit. So I'm gonna let her go until she figures it out.
I told her, hey, what do you want? I told you, hey, this is what's happening. Go ahead, find out.
Yeah.
What's tough though? I mean, I kind of want this like I tell my wife this too, because it's another mental toughness comes when you're dealing with like school and friends, right? And not being a follower, not being a pushover, and like how you want your friends to treat you and how you should treat your friends. Like, you need mental toughness to know, like, hey, you're not a wimp, and you're not this, and you don't just do what this person says because they said so. Like, also like recognizing like what is a good friend in comparison to like what isn't. You know what I mean? Like, the mental toughness it takes for them to stand up for themselves in those situations when you're not there. That, I mean, that's the stuff that really, really I think is like,
what though? It's not just like, we talk about breeding mental toughness in kids though. And like, it's not about them just having fortitude. It's like a combination of like, and this is what I think. They have to know they're supported in order to be confident. And being confident is the number one thing that is going to end up breeding it. Being able to say to a kid in the schoolyard, like, I don't like what you're doing there. Or like, no, we're not going to do that because that's not cool. Or like, that's tough to do when you're a kid in school and everyone's all hyped up and doing stuff. At any age. So I'm always trying to focus on like, you got to find the fine line of them being confident. You want them to be confident. And I think that for me, the best way to do that is to let them know that like, if you're acting right, you have all the support in the world. Like, I will have your back forever. You're doing the right things.
Right.
I don't care what anybody else says about it. I don't care what a teacher says. I don't care what a coach says. Like, if you're doing the right thing, then you have all the support in the world. And take that knowledge and let that feed that confidence of like, do the right thing, even when it's hard, and I will always have your back, even when it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you. I tell my daughter all the time, I was like, hey, if someone does this, you have permission to do this. And guess what? You're not going to get in trouble. You'll be perfectly fine. You know?
Mhm.
But that's all. But also, you know, it's also when kids tell you about things, you're like, what is real? What is not? You know? You
Right.
don't know.
What
And you gotta
percentage of
be
this is,
there. Yeah.
is accurate? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right, you know, when they're talking about my daughter's, you know, she just told everyone, she made an announcement at soccer practice the other day because we got rained out last Thursday, and she apologized to everyone, said, sorry guys, my new power is the rain, and I turned the rain on when we were at soccer, and that's why it got rained out, so, you know, it was a whole thing. One of the other girls was like, it's all right, I had wind power too. And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? How about we have defensive power here, huh?
Right.
A little
Right.
shutdown defense.
I bet we have the power to link together a couple passes on a through ball, huh?
Right. I'll tell you, I did implement a play that I loved on Sunday where I have one girl who she's got a pretty good foot, right? And right where the age they're at, the goalies can't drop kick the ball. But the problem is, when the goalie makes a save, we need to get the ball up the field, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
the move we do now is that when the goalie gets the ball, she runs right to the corner of the 18-yard box, very corner, right, as far as she
Uh-huh.
can go out, holding the ball. And then I'm like, look. Then I tell like my big boot kicker, I'm like, you stand right there. She's gonna roll you the ball, and you kick that son of a bitch up the sideline as far as you
Blast it.
can. Just send it up there, and I got one of my girls on my team is named Rocket. And I'm like, Rocket, when she kicks it, you go get it. You know? And then we just try to send it in your end. You know? Call it, I don't know what we'll call it. Maybe we'll call it Blast Off because we're kicking it to Rocket. But either way.
I like that.
So we are coming towards the top of time, gents. So, you know, Benditi Padalini, what do you got for mental toughness before we get the hell out of here?
I think it's just like what I was just saying, man. You got to find a way to let them know that, like, if they're doing the
Gotta let
right
them know.
thing, if they're doing the right thing, then you got their back. You got their back all the way,
Yep.
and hopefully that gives
Yeah.
them the courage and the confidence to do the right thing, even when they're going to get made fun of, or even when it's not the popular thing to do. And
Right.
then that right there alone, like, because then you get proud of them because they did the right thing, but they've just learned a lesson that they're just internalizing this of just like, holy shit. I mean, we all feel good when we do the right thing, and we all feel shitty when we do the wrong thing. That never goes away, right? Unless you're like a sociopath.
Right.
But the earlier they can recognize that, you know, hopefully the better choices they make, and the more mentally tough and confident they'll be going forward.
Yeah, I'm with you. Nice. The Schmig Daddy, what do you got before we get out of here? Mental toughness.
I think a good way is like when they're alone or they're doing something, you know what I mean? When you're trying to get through to them when they're making decisions, ask them like, when you look back on this in a week, are you going to be okay with what you did? Or you find somebody that they really look up to, like a coach
Yeah.
or an aunt or an
Yeah.
uncle and everything, and be like, if they were standing right here, would you do that? Would you be okay? Would you be okay with them watching you do this?
Ooh, I
If
like
the answer's
that.
if the answer's no, then maybe you need to take a step back and
Damn.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it like I'm gonna say it because my daughter loves her teacher. I'll be like, well, what
Because
if
your
blah blah
parents
blah
are
was
your
here?
parents are your parents. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's a
Right.
different
Yep.
dynamic. But
Completely.
somebody that's also older but cooler that they look up to and stuff, that's somebody that they don't want to let down at all.
Yeah.
You know? So you
Yeah.
kind of like bring that into the decision making process, and they'll think twice.
Big time. Nice. All right. No, I'm with you. Well, speaking of thinking twice, fellas, there's been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents For Dads by Dads. I'm Matt Lavelle, he's Bern Podcasy, and that good-looking bastard is Reese. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work and Respect This Podcast. You can also on Instagram, Work and Respect This Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at WorkingPod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workandrespects@gmail.com, and please like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing you this sweet content. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the flippy. Thanks. See you!